All right, welcome back everybody to PSGL. We are here for the season finale here in F5. This is the British Grand Prix. We're here at the Silverstone circuit for one final time in season 31. We cannot wait to get the event started with a full grid and a championship to be decided at this classic track. And speaking of classic tracks, this is the very first racetrack that hosted a Formula One Grand Prix. 18 turns make up a total of the Silverstone circuit. There's also a circuit length of 5.8 kilometers, almost 6 kilometers, so a very long circuit for around here. There's also 2 DRS zones to help encourage overtaking, so expect a lot of overtaking for around here, especially down into Brooklands at turn 6 and down into turn 15 at Stone. Those are going to be the 2 braking zones for the exits of the DRS zones. So watch out for a lot of overtaking at those particular parts of the track. So we are joining in this qualifying session. Thank you everybody for joining so far. Send in some comments if you have any questions, predictions, all that sort of thing. Let me know down in the comments section down below. And I'm Formula Jonah, your commentator for this season. And for one final time in F5, I say hello to everybody here joining the live stream. Welcome back, everybody. We have a very exciting race. As you can see by the title, this is the finale, and it is a title decider as well. Not just for one championship, but for 2 between the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors' Championship. It is going down to the wire here today in Silverstone as we prepare for a very exciting event. So the 2 drivers in the hunt for the Drivers' Championship are the McLaren driver of Rick and the Aston Martin driver of Victor. Victor seems like the driver to win this championship as he leads away Rick by 11 points, which is a pretty big gap to between first and second position. But of course, in league racing, who knows what could happen? Anything can happen. And I'm going to go over a few little details that I gathered from our standings here and tell you guys exactly what is going on as we're going to watch a few drivers go for laps. I'll actually do that in a second because we're going to take it on board with our championship contender, Rick, as he comes down to turn 1 and turn 2, a traction zone at turn 1. It's going to be very difficult for drivers to take that correctly. Into turn 3, a braking zone, first heavy braking zone of the day, and a great place to make an overtake as well. Into turn 4, slightly getting on the power. It's another traction zone. Into turn 5, flat out through there. Down the Wellington Straight now. This is going to be a great place to make an overtake into Brooklands and Luffield. Turn 6, this is Brooklands down to around 4th to 5th gear. Depends, of course, on your downforce levels. Into 6, a very difficult corner, I might add. It is very difficult to exit for around here as you want to place the car very neat and tidy. Now we're coming down to the infamous Copse Corner where Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton had a bit of contact in 2021. It is all good for Rick as he comes through Copse into one of the trickiest corners of this track. Maggots and Beckett's, a few different sets of corners as you're just dabbing on the brakes, dabbing on the throttle as well as you're going through 6th to 7th gear onto the straight. Now we're going to see speeds up to around 200 and about 5 miles per hour. Of course, that depends on your downforce levels as well. Into Stowe, great place to go side by side at, but of course you don't want to go wide and push your opponent off the track as we come down into pretty much the heaviest braking zone on the track, the finalist braking zone on the track. Turn 16 into turn 18 around the final corner, and Rick sets the fastest lap of the race so far, a 1:26.941. Very good lap time from our championship contender as Vandenberg is in P2, Ian P3. And let's quickly mention the Mercedes driver because actually he won the last race out in USA, and unfortunately we weren't able to stream it as we're having some technical difficulties with that, but it's all good. Ian did get his first win, I do believe, in PSGL last race, so congrats to him on that one. Will he go for back-to-back victories here today in Britain? Well, I guess we'll find out when we come to the checkered flag at the end of this race, but let's go back to this championship. That is the biggest talking point of today because it is going to be crucial for Rick to get a high up position in this race. He needs every single point he can get because check this out, guys. We have Victor. Victor currently P7. What he needs to do to win the championship is really just score some points. I think that's what it is. But even that, it's gonna have to be a really good result for Rick. Let me quickly explain. Victor needs to finish, if Victor finishes outside the points in P11 or lower, Rick needs to finish second or third with the fastest lap. So that is a very interesting point to mention, because this means that Rick is going to need to stay in the top 3 pretty much at all times. And even if he scores P3 in this race, I do believe he needs to take the fastest lap, and he will be tied on points with Victor if Victor scores no points today. So what's interesting, though, is that if Rick does that, I do believe he will win the championship because he has more wins this season. I do believe he's got 3 wins to his name. Victor has 2. I do believe it was at, I want to say Austria and Japan. Those are the 2 wins he got. So it's going to be a big ask for Rick today. But of course, in league racing, we could see anything happen. So we'll see how it goes. If Rick wins this race, and that's very much a possibility, Victor needs to finish 7th or higher to win. So honestly, Victor just needs to finish in at least the top 7, something like that. I think it's a pretty good result for him right now. It's not a ton of stress. Of course, it is stressful because it is the championship, but it's not like you have to finish like first, or like if you finish second and your opponent finishes first, then you lose kind of thing. So it's like Victor, if he can just consistently keep up in this race, and he's been showing some great pace as well, been consistently up there in the top 5, he will be able to get there and hopefully win this championship. But we will see. We still got a long ways to go in this F5 championship. Still a race to come. Still a rest of the qualifying session to come as well. So we will see how that works out. Another battle for the championship is the Constructors battle, as there is 3 constructors that can win this title. I think there's a possible 4th, and that will be Alfa Romeo, but I think it's a bit of a long shot for the Swiss outfit. But currently, Williams lead away by only, I think, 2 or 3 points to the next team, which would be Aston Martin. Then it is AlphaTauri, and if you look at the qualifying result right now, Vandenberg and Slash currently 2nd and 3rd on the grid. So it's looking really good for the Italian team right now. Williams in P7 and P16. Trappy Formula in the Williams car, about to start his lap. So let's see what he can do. And imagine if Williams or Aston Martin grab this championship. I'm sure they will be very, very happy, since this is their home Grand Prix. Williams based in Britain, same with Aston Martin. So this could be really big for them. One of these constructors is either gonna be these 2 or AlphaTauri. So we'll see. As Trappy Formula comes through, Brooklyn's now. He has yet to set a lap time in this session, so let's see if he's going to be able to set a competitive lap time. I'm sure he's going to want to join his teammate Tatterson in the top 8, as we have another driver going faster. That is, I do believe, Hadrick, who's just gone into P4. Rudy has now got into 2nd, so very competitive lap time from the Alpine driver. 127.0 is his current lap time, just a 10th down from Rick. So Rudy showing some really good pace for pole position today. So we will see how that goes out for him, as Trappy goes a little bit too wide on the exit, but is still purple in the 2nd sector. Is that a game glitch, or is that seriously his pace? I hope it is his pace, because I want to see him and a Williams team do well today. Into turn 15, goes a little wide, and he's going to get an invalidation. Oh, and he's going to be very furious with that one. It was looking to be a very competitive lap time for the Williams driver. It looks like he just got a little bit too much understeer, misjudged the braking maybe. Not exactly sure, but it seems that he went off track, and because of that, he did get an invalid lap time, which means that he can't settle out. So he will go into the pit lane, put on a new tire compound, and he will go again. He still has some time to do that, so that's good news for him. And we will see if he's going to be able to set a competitive lap time. So anyone else out on track setting some quick sectors? Let's take a look. We have Ian going around a 10th faster. This would put him around P5, I do believe. So Ian, purple in the 2nd sector. Is that fastest overall, or again, is that a game glitch? We will see. As he comes around turn 15, into Vale we come. with the Mercedes driver who won last time out in USA as he comes around turn 17 and 18 to the line now, and it is fastest overall. Wow, Ian has gone fastest, and that truly was purple in the second sector, and it truly was purple all around as Ian goes fastest overall by a 10th, as the Mercedes driver showing some incredible pace in these final few races. A win last time out in USA. Is it going to be pole position here today in Britain? Possibly another win. I guess we're going to have to find out, right? So we still have a few minutes to go. 7 minutes to be exact. We're waiting for a few drivers to set some more lap times. I expect these drivers will set 2 more competitive laps. Vandenberg up on his time. Is this going to be the fastest lap overall? As speaking of fast laps, we have Lars who's just gone into P4. Ooh, Vandenberg gets a little twitchy off of the exit of left field. And he's going to exit into the straight, the old pit straight, of course. And DeCopp's at turn 9, looking really steady. As he comes through Maggots and Beckett, that's going to be the point that determines his lap. Looking pretty strong for the AlphaTauri car as he comes through 13 into 14, and he spins the car around. Loses the back end at the exit, and that is his lap over, unfortunately. And Vandenberg will sit P6 for the time being. As Smalley, the Alfa Romeo driver, has just gone into P8. He was a championship contender, but I do believe he is out of contention for this championship, currently sitting 3rd in this championship. So even if he doesn't win this one, he will be in a great position at the end of it, battling for the top 3. And look at this, we have a full Alfa Romeo, second row of the grid, and a full Ferrari. I do believe that is a full Ferrari 5th row of the grid. So as now the Red Bull goes and splits the Alfa Romeos and the Ferraris. The Dozzi in the Red Bull. I can't say I've seen his name before. I think he was in the last race at USA. Unfortunately, we weren't able to stream that though, so that's why his name looks a little unfamiliar. But, you know, he's showing some great pace so far. Hopefully it turns out to be a great race for him. So I do want to mention again, thank you all so much for joining our live stream here today. If you're enjoying the commentary and the racing so far in this exciting qualifying session and exciting race to come, make sure to like the stream and subscribe as well. This is unfortunately the last race of season 31, but good news, season 32 is coming up very soon, and we will go over the counters and signups as well a little bit later into the stream. But while we're on the topic of comments and season 32 and just everything about PSGL, I do want to mention our sponsors, Grid Rival. Thank you so much for sponsoring this video, and also thank you so much to GT Omega for being our title sponsor throughout the entire season. You can use the code PSGL at checkout on the GT Omega website for 5% off on GT Omega products. That's down in the description down below, and that would be hugely appreciated, of course. So back to the racing. We have a few drivers coming into the pit lane, most likely reviewing that data and going out once again for a final lap. And here's the question. Will anyone beat Ian's lap and go faster than a 126.815? Rick in the McLaren P2. And let's take a look at that championship as well. Look at Victor. P17 for the Aston Martin. Not looking good. He's got an invalid lap time right now. So this is pretty big. This is pretty big. This could give Rick a really good shot at winning this championship. Victor needs a lap time. He needs a competitive lap time. If anything, he needs to qualify in the top 10. That is going to be crucial for him in this race, in this championship fight. But let's see. As he's actually going to come into the pit lane, most likely to put on a new set of soft compound tires and review the data, go out again as fast as possible, because look at the clock to the top left of your screen. It is counting down. 3 minutes and 15 seconds to go in this qualifying session, and I expect a few drivers will start coming out on track as well. So this is going to be pretty big. Let's see. Rick's teammate Kyle is up on his time, currently in the bottom half of the grid. Speaking of the bottom 5, we actually got to talk about Trappy Formula in the Williams as well. He has not been able to settle lap time, and if Williams are going to be winning this championship, Formula's got to be up there. He really does, because Catterson's in P4, and Williams need every single point they can get if they're going to win this championship. What we will see, Kyle up on his time 2/10, as while we're watching this McLaren driver, we got a ton of drivers coming out on track right now, so that's good news. We will catch up with them in a moment, but around the final couple of corners comes Kyle in the McLaren. Can he join his teammate up in the top 10? Let's see. Currently P18 on the grid. McLaren, I'm sure, would love a great result here today at their home Grand Prix as Kyle comes to the line and is P14 only. So not a very competitive lap time for Kyle. But look at the grid. Look how close that is. I mean, I know he's P15, but look how close. Look how close the grid is. From P1 to P16, I do believe. It's about, I don't know, about 5 to 6 tenths. That's how close it is in this session. Between 10th, actually, from P7 to P11, they are just separated by a few 100ths of a second. That is truly incredible to witness right there, and it just shows how competitive this tier really, really is. And look at the difference between 1 and 2. One Hadrick has just gone into second position with a 126.818. The difference is just 3 1,000ths of a second. Absolutely incredible. While we're talking about this grid being so close, that shows exactly how close it truly is. So we got a lot of cars getting ready to go. One Hadrick is coming into the pit lane. He is done. That is his lap for the day. And let's keep an eye on a few other drivers. 42 seconds to go. Rick has got to get there. What about our championship leader, Victor? He's got enough time to go out on track. So the final laps begin. Here we go for one final time in Season 31 in qualifying. It is go time, and we are watching these drivers coming around. Rick coming to the line now, so let's see what he can do. I think he's stuck behind a Ferrari, so he's trying to get the exit that he needs. Speaking of exits, Victor getting pretty good exits out of the first couple of corners here. The Aston Martin driver and our championship leader needs a very competitive lap time, currently with a 127.5. This is make or break. This is the lap he needs. This is his championship winning lap. So we'll see. So coming through left field now, on board with the Aston Martin as he comes around that. I didn't see his first sector time, hoping it was quick. And keeping an eye on Rick as well. Let's take a look real quickly. And he is down by a few 100ths of a second. Going back to Victor. Coming into Maggots of Beckett's. This has got to be a very impressive lap. It's looking to be a very good one as he exits very nicely onto the straight now. Just a few corners to go. Meanwhile, Backy does retire. And I think that's in the pit lane. As round Stowe we come with Victor. Don't go too wide. He hasn't. It's going pretty good for our championship leader. He's got a few corners to go. Rudy improves to P3. A few other drivers improving as well. What about our championship leader, though? He goes into the top 5. Amazing lap from Rick there. That was exactly what he needed to stay in championship contention and continue to lead. Rick has actually invalidated, so what's actually happened is our two championship contenders are right next to each other on the grid, and I was about to say they were, but Trappy Formula has actually just gone into P5, so he split the two drivers. But what this does mean is that Victor is now right behind Rick on the grid. Oh, actually, never mind, because Slash has just gone into P5, but Victor will be there in the top 7 at least, so this is great news for Victor. Rick, P4 on the grid. Remember, if Victor finishes 7th or higher, he will win the championship no matter what Rick gets in this race. What Rick needs today is a win, and he needs Victor to either mess up in the race or be collected in some sort of carnage, and I'm hoping that won't happen because we want to see a good race between these two. I want to see some side-by-side action actually between these two, so it's gonna be awesome. We will see how that works out, but here is your pole position sitter Ian on pole position, continuing to show some incredible pace here in PSGL F5. He won the last race in USA. He will start on pole here in Britain. Is it going to be back-to-back victories for the Dutch driver? Well, I guess we're going to have to find out. And before we head into the race, look at the top four. Look how close they are in this race. That is absolutely incredible. I gotta mention that. They are all separated by around 7/100ths of a second. Truly amazing. Absolutely incredible. And I'm speechless, honestly. That is awesome. So Ian qualifies on pole for the British Grand Prix. One hat-trick is in P2, and I do believe Rudy is in P3 for Alpine. Rudy showing some great pace in this race, or in the qualifying session. Let's see if he can continue that in the race. I got a good feeling for Rudy today. Hopefully it all goes good. Williams, Trappy Formula, was able to get into the top 10. Great lap from him, and he is solidifying Williams' chances of winning this championship. But let's see how this works out. We are ready to go for this race today. No formation lap, I do believe that is still turned off due to the ongoing glitch that's on this game, where it gives the host, I think, all tire temperatures. So that's an issue. I hope that does get cleared up. But that means no formation. We're just going straight into the race. But once again, thank you all so much for joining us. I hope you get a good one. Stay around for the rest of the race. It's going to be a truly amazing Grand Prix. Here we go, guys. I cannot express my gratitude for having PSGL commentate for me. I cannot wait for these drivers to show what they got. Let's see how the start turns out. 10 seconds to go in this loading screen, and then it is time for the racing. So here we go. For one final time in Season 31, it is lights out. And away we go for racing here in Britain. Ian gets away well. One hat-trick trying to challenge him, but he's just going to slot right into P2. Rick already challenging Rudy down into turn 1, and he's side by side with the Alpine. Victor up to 6. Rudy sending it down the inside. Rick is now side by side with the Red Bull. There's a Red Bull actually off the track as well. That is Dodozi in the Red Bull car. Rick is trying to make that move on the Red Bull of one hat-trick. Victor has actually spun around. The championship leader has spun. There's contact. And this is horrible news for Victor and Slash. But Victor down to 19th position. This is exactly what he didn't need. And currently Rick will take the world championship because he's going to be in P2. Oh my goodness. I can't believe that has just happened. Devastation and drama for the Aston Martin of Victor Vandenberg, now getting ahead of Trappy Formula in the Williams. Meanwhile, Trappy's teammate Catterson is in P10, so both Williams still in the points. But I can't get over that incident with Victor. That means that he is down into the 19th position and will not be scoring points in this race unless he's able to come back, and I hope he can, because this is going to be very, very big. Rick, and we see Rudy and one hat-trick side by side. The Alpine and the Red Bull are looking to make a great overtaking opportunity work as Rudy gets up into P3, one hat-trick down to 4th. But a great move from Rudy. Round the outside goes the Alpine, and he's up into 3rd position. Ian leads us the way. Rick trying to challenge him. This has gone perfectly for Rick. And I said it earlier on, Rick just needed Victor to be involved in some sort of incident, and unfortunately, that's exactly what happened. I'm not sure if who caused the incident, but it seems Victor and Slash were involved, and that is the Aston Martin out of the points for the time being. Oh, McLaren off the track. I think that's Kyle. And Victor's moved up to 17th now, as we see Backy and Dodozi side by side into Brooklands. Who's going to get ahead? Is it the Red Bull? Is it the Alfa Romeo? Backy trying to fight this one, but the Red Bull should get the better line out of left field, and he does. Backy's just going to have to lose out to that position for the time being. But right now, Williams are in a perfect position. Vandenberg for AlphaTauri in a good position as well. So it's mainly AlphaTauri versus Williams. Aston Martin are down the order, so not looking good for them, as Rick is still about 8/10 behind. Meanwhile, Rudy is starting to chase after our championship contender, currently our championship leader, if things stay the same. As Rudy in the Alpine, 7/10 behind. And it's about the same gap from 1 to 2 to 2 to 3 to 3 to 4. So, quite interesting to see how that's all shaping up. Oh, a little bit of twitch I see from the Alpine of Rudy, who's now just at the fastest lap of the race. And there's an AlphaTauri off the track. That is Vandenberg. And Smalley in the Alfa Romeo is now looking to chase after the AlphaTauri driver in P5. So we'll see if Smalley will be able to get ahead, and for AlphaTauri's sake, they need the biggest amount of points they can get in today's race if they're going to be able to win this one. So any more battles we're seeing out on track, I think Lakitu in the Mercedes is close to making a move on the Aston Martin of Bajou, I do believe that's how you pronounce it. As the Mercedes looking for the overtake. A lot of slipstream I'm seeing right here as DRS is enabled, but they're kind of in that DRS train right now. So we're probably not going to see too much overtakes. As a few drivers go off track, that is the Aston and the Ferrari going off the track there. That allows Lakitu to maybe close up. The Dozy in that fight as well. The Dozy looking for the move on Lakitu, as we will see how that works out. Meanwhile, our championship contender Victor P17 yet to make an overtake on Baki. He is still in that DRS train as well, though. Oh, Dozy gets a little bit of snap of oversteer there, as the Red Bull will not be able to make that move on Lakitu at the time being. So the Red Bull will stay in P15 right now. And any more overtakes we're seeing, I think it's just this DRS train continuing. That's kind of what's going on right now. There is a pretty big gap between Rudy and one Hadrick, 1.3 seconds. So that's pretty big in F1 terms. As the Dozy round, I do believe. He's moved down the order, lost a lot of positions. I think approximately 4, actually. So that means Victor's up to P16. Bas Bremer up into 17th now. But the Dozy's down to 18th. He was in that battle with, I do believe, the Mercedes of Lakitu. So I wonder if there was contact between the two drivers. I am not exactly sure about that one, though. Just kind of giving a guess. I think Catterson. Let's go to Catterson now. Oh, he goes very wide. I was about to say he's trying to make that overtake on Lars, but unfortunately he went wide there and has lost a little bit more time to the Haas driver. Haas looking for some points as well. Lars in P9, Mentos in P11. And it's actually a battle between Williams and Haas as they're all in the 8th to 11th position. Now Sanvudio has actually got up into 11th, so make that P12 for Mentos, as the Ferrari gets up into P11 and the Ferrari-powered Haas moves down into P12. So Rudy is now set the fastest lap of this Grand Prix at 130.9. Is he starting to catch after Rick? I'm not exactly sure. Vandenberg also looking for the overtake on Hadrick. We'll see if the Red Bull will be able to defend against the AlphaTauri. Remember, AlphaTauri in that championship contention for the constructors. Where is Slash, by the way? Slash is P19. Oh yeah, because he was involved with that incident with Victor. That's why he's down the order. So not good for both drivers there, as both their teams need good points in their hunt for the championship. So it's all about these one drivers. Actually, Aston Martin are not in the points, so it's not looking quite good for their championship hopes. And speaking of championship hopes, Victor's is slowly drifting away, which is really unfortunate. I want to see him get a good result, but we will see. And of course, there can only be one winner of this F5 championship. Rick in the best position at this time being. P2 at the moment. Currently, that will give him the championship, unless of course there's penalties applied. as Catterson has also made a move on Lars, so the Williams move up into P9 now, so that's good news for him. And just a quick reminder, Rick needs to finish, if Victor is out of the top 11, like he is right now, then Rick just needs to finish second, where he is right now, or third with the fastest lap, and that would put him equal on points, but of course he does have more wins than Victor, so that should give him the championship by F1 rules. So currently it's going good for Rick, but of course, like I mentioned earlier, anything can happen in league racing. We will wait and see how this works out. And actually, I'm going to quickly take a look at tires right now as we witness a lot of drivers on the hards. Sandvideo and Vandenberg on the medium tire, everyone else on the hards. So a definite one stop for this race. In terms of what tire they'll pit onto next, I think the medium compound runners will probably pit for the hards. It is possible to go to the softs, but I think they'll probably pit for the hard tire. Everybody else on the hards right now will, I'm assuming, try and go to around lap 20, or not 20, I want to say lap 18, somewhere around there. And then they'll pit onto the soft compound tires as Vandenberg makes the move on one Hadrick up into P4 now. The AlphaTauri moves into 4th position, and the sister team moves up ahead of the main team, so that's quite interesting. Of course, it is equal cars, though, as we can see. Hadrick still trying to fight this position, but Vandenberg on those faster tires is understandably more quicker than Hadrick. He's going to have a lot more speed into these corners. The mediums are a much better tire than the hards, especially right now. As Lakito gets a 3-second time penalty, that's going to affect his race results. As I'm trying to look for any close delta to see if anyone's going to be able to make an overtake anytime soon. I think Bas Bremer is looking for one on Slash. Oh, contact actually! Slash and Bas Bremer have made contact there, and that means that both drivers are down the order. We caught it just at the end there. So unfortunately, we didn't get the full contact situation. Bas Bremer is going to let him pass, I do believe. I wonder if that was maybe a mistake. A mistake by Bas Bremer. He's just saying sorry. I wonder if that was the case. We have a comment coming in saying hello, and can I have a shout out? Yes, you can. Hello there, and welcome to the stream. Hope you're enjoying it so far. We're having a pretty good race, I think. Ian's still leading us away by around 6/10 to Rick, the Mercedes driver, looking pretty strong in this one. Of course, though, let's quickly get on board. You can see the two drivers right behind. That is a McLaren, and that is an Alpine. I kind of like this camera angle, actually. It's pretty cool. As Rick sets the fastest lap of the race, and he is honestly closer to Ian than he's ever been before. I think this is the closest he's got. So, it's looking pretty good for Rick right now. He's just got to keep this up. The McLaren of Rick, 6/10 behind the Mercedes. Rudy in P3, and Vandenberg a further 2 seconds behind the top three. So one McLaren is in a hunt for this championship, and the race lead. The other one is in P20 with a pit stop. Not going good for Kyle. And we have some support for Rudy and Victor. Definitely looking for a good race for them. Of course, Rudy in a good one right now. P3, Victor. It hasn't gone super great for him, but we will see. As yellow flag, that is a Ferrari round. That is Sanvudia. And he's got no wing as well. That is at the exit of turn 14. So I wonder if he got on the grass a little bit to the left and spun the car around. Not exactly sure, but that means that Sanvudia will come in to the pit lane. And while we're on the subject of pit lanes, I actually do want to bring this up because this is an interesting fact. The pit lane is pretty much the longest pit lane on the entire F1 calendar. It is very, very long. I think a pit stop takes around 38 seconds. I do believe I saw that statistic a little bit ago. It's something like that. So it's a pretty long pit, and these drivers will have to. They have to manage the pit stops. That's why a lot of drivers go for the 1 stop and they don't go for the 2 stop here, because they don't want to make an extra stop. That is something that they don't want to do. This track and the Monte Carlo circuit as well. That one is another one that you don't want to make a pit stop at. And this one's more just because the pit stop's long. Monaco, people don't want to make a pit stop because if you get stuck behind that car, another car, you're not in a great position, and you'll be held up for quite a while. But anyway, back to the racing here today in Silverstone. We are on 9 laps out of 26. Rick still has that 7/10 gap to Ian, so no change in the top 3 at this particular moment. San Video has exited around 34 seconds behind Bas Bremer. That is not good for the Ferrari car, but he does have a driver trying to overtake him. That's Kyle on the medium tire, so hopefully we'll see some action there, and I'm hoping that there's a safety car for them, because that way they'll be able to close up. And look at that, it just trickles down. Ian fastest lap, Rick fastest lap, then Rudy fastest lap. All 3 pushing as hard as possible for this race victory. So we are in lap 10 out of 26. Keep an eye on Vandenberg in the AlphaTauri. He still needs to pit in this race. Will he pit for the hards, or will he stay out a little bit longer for the softs? We can see him in the distance there, under pressure from the Red Bull of Hadrick. Let's ride on board with the Red Bull as he's coming around left field, trying to get the better grip. I think Vandenberg is starting to lose a little bit of tire grip on those particular set of medium compound tires. Even if they're only 10 laps, I can't speak. Even if they're a little bit weird, even if they're only 10 laps, they are still going to be not as quick as the hards, because the hards are going to be using a little bit more grip since they're warmed up and not as cold. So Hadrick will have the speed down to turn 15, using the slipstream from the AlphaTauri. He's going to pull to the inside line. There he goes, down the inside. Vandenberg trying to fight this one back. He's side by side, but he just gets caught out by that. He's coming to the pit lane. That was a late call. I wonder if he knew, hey, I can't fight this position. I'm struggling with these tires a little bit more than I would have liked, and maybe he thought this is the best option for him. And yeah, so he's going to come into the pit lane most likely for the hards. Let's take a look. Yes, it is hards tire for the AlphaTauri driver. And the pit stop should be a complete, pretty good pit from the AlphaTauri crew. And Vandenberg will exit right behind his teammate in P17. Victor makes the move on Lakitu. Oh, switchback maneuver. Possibly Victor's going around the outside. Oh, close to contact. A little bit of wheel baiting there. Let's ride on board with Victor, who's going to switch to the other side of the track. Oh, wow. He's actually going to switch back to the racing line. Is he going to send it to the inside and look for an overtake? Cannot make that move, though. He's trying everything he can to win this championship. Remember, he needs to finish 7th or higher. And that's also if Rick wins this race. If he finishes P2, I think Victor needs to just grab, 2 points in this race. Not for sure certain on that. I'll have to do the math in a little bit. I unfortunately didn't do the math for that particular scenario. But anyway, we have Victor trying to make that move on Lakitu. DRS enabled. This is going to be probably his best opportunity to make that overtake. We also see some fighting going up ahead. Victor's looking for the overtake. Oh, not a lot of room, but Lakitu goes a little bit wide. Victor gets the better exit, and he's looking for it, but he cannot make that overtake. He gets so close, and he just can't. There's just not enough space. Oh, Haas goes wide. That is Lars, I do believe. Oh, and there's contact between the two Haas's. Mentos and Lars have made contact. I wonder if Mentos was passing through Lars, and Lars, because Lars was ghosted, and I wonder if he unghosted at the worst time imaginable. I wonder if that was what happened. Oh, Victor trying to make a move on Lakitu. Aston versus Mercedes here. We also have Lars and the second Aston Martin in this battle as well. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. Victor's making the overtake. Round the outside goes the Aston Martin. Lokito trying to keep this position, and he does. This is like Ocon. Oh, and Victor. Oh my goodness. What a save. Oh, that was heart and mouth situation right there. That was the craziest save I've ever seen. He almost was sideways. That was almost like a Colton Herta save from the IndyCar race a while back. Wow, absolutely incredible. But he's got to keep this up. He's got to get prepared to make that overtake on Lakitu already. It seems like he's struggling. As look at this battle here. Lakito's making the move. 3 wide possibly. Let's find out. Oh, it's so close to contact, but they're keeping it all together. As Lakito gets ahead of Lars. Victor is going to stay in P. Oh, he's actually going to make the move. Oh no, he's actually pitting. Victor is pitting. And he gets a 5-second time penalty in the pit lane. Oh no. Dropping Formula also in the pit lane as well. Same with Mentos in the Haas. This is horrible news for Victor. He's going to come into the pits, most likely onto the medium compound tires. Let's take a look. Yes, it is medium. Same with Troppy Formula and Mentos, I do believe as well. As we see Vandenberg looking for the overtake on a Troppy Formula. Remember, he's already pit, so this is going good for him. He's trying to make that overtake down into turn 4. Become the Williams, trying to make that one work, but no, he cannot keep ahead. So Vandenberg is going to stay ahead. Troppy Formula has just come out on cold tires. Vandenberg's already had 2 laps to warm up those hards, so he's going to have a lot more grip, especially into the first sector. So I think, oh, Vandenberg getting a little bit twitchy on the exit. Gets on the grass as well. Troppy Formula is going to get ahead. And Vandenberg will stay in P15, actually. And let's take a look at the front runners. Rick in that McLaren, as we see for a brief second there. I'm not sure why the game switched. For a brief second on the front wing. As he's trying to catch after Ian. Meanwhile, Slimbo and Counterson into the pit lane, most likely on a medium tire. Let's take a look. Mediums for the Ferrari team. Counterson coming into the pits. I'm assuming for mediums. There's mediums for Aston Martin, mediums for Counterson, and I do believe mediums for Haas as well. So a lot of teams coming into the pit lane on the medium tire. Do they believe that the softs are not the correct option for a round here? I think a lot of them are thinking that. But I think a lot of them are also thinking softs are the better option. As Sam Video is off the track in the Ferrari. As we see Dodozi and Baki side by side. Dodozi gets ahead and up into 7th position. So the Red Bull keeps ahead of the Alfa Romeo. And here's the question. What about the top 3? Are they going to pit anytime soon? Will they pit for the mediums? Will they pit for the softs? Is someone going to risk it? There's also an AlphaTauri off the track. I do believe that is Vandenberg. And that is not good for him. Really not good for him. As, oh, car off the track. I think that's San Video trying to get out of the way of the top 3. But yeah, that's huge news for the AlphaTauri team as they are going to be down the order slash in P9, but still has to pit as well. So not good news for them as Sandovidia does retire from this race, unfortunately. See, as Smalley comes into the pit lane for Alfa Romeo. So one of the top 5 cars is into the pits. As we also have another car, that's Lakitu, also getting a 5-second time penalty. Medium tires for Mercedes. What about Alfa Romeo? Smalley into the pits, and it is medium tires, so not time for the softs quite yet. Understandably so. Softs usually last around 8 to 9 laps for around here, so I would expect drivers to probably pit on lap 18 for the soft compound tires. It seems like that's what the top 3 are doing. Same with Red Bull, and maybe Baki and Slash, I'm not exactly sure. As Trappy Formula sets the fastest lap of the race. Good news for him. Catterson exits right behind his teammate as Victor now sets the fastest lap of the race. He's currently in P13. As now P12 as he's made the move on Lakitu. So Victor up into P12 now. I think he'll be in P10. So let's find out as Smalley and Slimbo side by side. The Ferrari gets ahead for the time being. Smalley trying to make that move. Maybe around the outside of left field. Maybe a Copse overtake. Let's see. And we want to keep an eye on the front runners as well, as they could be coming into the pit lane anytime soon. Watch the mini map. And that is 2 of the cars into the pit lane, actually. Oh. There we go. Ian and Rick, the 2 race leaders, into the pits. Rudy stays out. 1 Hadrick comes into the pit lane as well. So I'm assuming that Dozy and Backy will stay out. Medium tires for Ian. So the race leader comes into the pits for mediums. What about Rick? Seems to be mediums as well. And where will these 2 exit? That is the question here. And if safety car comes out, that really affects Rick's race as well and his championship hopes. But a lot of the drivers are coming into the pit lane. Let's take it on board with Victor as he's coming around turn 15 now. I want to see where he exits because a lot of drivers are into the pit lane. Theoretically, he should exit in P10. So let's see. Maybe P9. I think it's going to be P10 for the Aston Martin. So, Ian and Rick, oh, wow, a lot of overtaking going on here. 4 cars in this fight. Actually, 5 cars, because Catterson is in this one as well. So, a battle for P5, I do believe. And it's looking to be a very impressive one as well, as there goes Catterson to the inside line. Williams, keep this up. You got a huge chance at winning this championship, and you might very well do this. So, currently, Victor will win the championship if things stay as they are. But remember, Backy and Rudy still have to pit, so Rick will end up in P2 by the time they come into the pit lane. Speaking of pits, Rudy is into the pit lane. Race leader, Alpine. Has the undercut worked better, or will the overcut be the better option for Rudy? Let's find out. Backy also into the pit lane. Is it mediums? Yes, no one's really risking it onto the softs. Wonder if they think softs are not the option, and that very well could be true. Softs are not the best tire for race on this game, and in real life too. So I wonder if they are just thinking mediums are the better option and the safer option. As Ian will get up into P1, Rick will get up into P2, Rudy will exit in P3. So the overcut hasn't worked out too much. But it seems to be fine. Victor will exit in P9. And currently, I want to take a look at the math here if I get the opportunity here. I'm going to do this midstream if I get the opportunity. But I want to find out how this is going to work out. So currently Ian leading the race, 6/10 separating first and second position. Rick, what he needs is he needs to win this race because I'm not sure if he knows this, but Victor is coming back through the field. Every point will count for the Aston Martin driver. So this is big news for him. So I think what needs to happen is if Victor stays in P9, he will be getting 2 points. But does he actually have the fastest lap? Let's take a look at that. Let me quickly get the fastest lap there. Currently, it's his teammates. So, Victor does not have the fastest lap. So that goes to his teammate. Rudy is actually dropped back quite a bit. What happened to the Alpine? He is now 3 seconds behind Rick. So that's not worked out really well for the Alpine driver. And going back to things, what needs to happen is, I do believe, as Ian says, the fastest lap of the race, I think what needs to happen is Rick needs to get second place, but with the fastest lap. So, if Victor finishes 9th. I think that's how it works. Don't quote me on this. Honestly, I haven't done the math on this particular scenario. We will see if it's going to work out that way, because Backy is on fresh tires, and same with Lakitu. So I'm not sure if they'll be overtaking Victor, if Victor will be making an overtake on them, or on cars ahead, sorry, but we'll see. And what Rick needs, he seriously needs to get into the race lead. That is what is crucial for him. He needs to win this race. I mean, it's not crucial. I mean, it is crucial, but like, it's possible for him to finish second and get the fastest lap and still win the championship, I think. So we'll see. We'll see how this works out, though. He is 5/10 away from Ian, and I have a feeling this is going to come down to the final few laps of this race. We are on lap 18 out of 26. 8 laps to go in this British Grand Prix. It's coming down to the wire in terms of these points. Meanwhile, in terms of the Constructors' Championship, Williams are leading it and will continue to lead it, as I'm sure they'll be very happy with that as well. I saw in the chat that they were talking about this championship. They were really hoping for this, and they've had a brilliant season. Honestly, they have. It has been a very consistent race from the pair of them, Catterson and Trapi Formula, looking to possibly take this championship. We will see how it works out, though. Okay, so any more moves that's going on right now? I think Slimbo is the closest to making an overtake. 3/10 separating himself and Smalley. Trappy Formula and Catterson follow behind in the 2 Williams cars. And we'll see if the Ferrari will be making an overtake. He does have a penalty, though. And also, speaking of penalties, Victor has a 5-second time penalty. And if Baki makes the overtake, on Lakitu and gets ahead of the Mercedes, then that is seriously a big deal. Currently, I think the championship will go to Victor. I think by 1 point. I think that's how it's going to work out, but Victor needs to stay in P9 for this to happen. Rick, I think, needs to grab the fastest lap of the race and finish if he finishes in second position, to win this championship because he has more wins. Because here's the thing, guys. If Rick finishes in P2, and I'm sorry if this is a lot of math, I'm just calculating this and telling you all the findings. But if Rick finishes in P2 and grabs the fastest lap and Victor stays where he's at, they will be tied on points. But I do believe, according to F1 rules, whoever has more points in the race, or sorry, more wins in the championship, wins the championship. So I do believe Victor. So it all depends on this fastest lap, honestly. That's kind of how it works out. So Rick, 6/10 behind the Mercedes driver, 7/10 now, as Limbo 2/10 behind the Alfa Romeo. So a nice battle forming right here for P4. It's between actually 4 cars: Williams, Ferrari, and Alfa Romeo. And also another big thing that has just been confirmed by PSGL, and something we should very much talk about, is Season 32. What's next? This is the final race of the season. What is next for the league? Well, they did reveal the calendar. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We're going to be heading to Spain on November 10th. That is going to be the first race of the season. So that's going to be next month, which will be great, as we see Slimbo still trying to make that overtake on Smalley. But yeah, the calendar's looking awesome. Monaco is back. Netherlands is back. Canada is back. Australia, that's another race. So a lot of exciting races in Season 32 of PSGL, and signups are now open as well. So if you want to sign up for the league, definitely go do so and join the Discord. Do all the stuff that you need to sign up for next season. So that'll be great, and we hope to see you there, of course. All right, back to the action. Rick still has that 7/10 gap on Ian. Slimbo in P5, followed by those 2 Williams. No change in the top 7 right now. What about Victor? 5 seconds from 1 Hadrick. What about Baki? Baki trying to defend against a Dozy in the Red Bull. The Red Bull trying to make a move on Baki. We'll see if he's going to be able to. So on board with the Red Bull. Look at the speed he's carrying. He's going to try and make a move into Cops. I don't think he is. He cannot send it to the inside. Not enough space. The Alfa Romeo is going to stay ahead for now, but the DRS is coming up. The Hanger Straight is next up, and Dodozi will have a great opportunity to make an overtake. And these two could affect the championship as well, because if one of them gets up into P10 and at least gets in the gap of Victor, that affects the championship. It really does. So let's see. And we'll see if the Dozy is going to make that move on Baki. I want an intense championship fight, and we're getting it right now. I hope you guys want that too. It is turning out to be a very intense fight. Even though it's not on-track battling, it is still super, super intense. And Rick, this is coming down to the wire now. He's got a few laps to go. If he can overtake Ian, he's going to for sure win this championship. Unless something happens, like a huge crash or something like that in the midfield. But Rick, the one thing he needs to do is he needs to lead. He needs to lead this race. Because currently, he's not going to win the championship. Because Victor will win it by 1 point. So, I don't know. Because if you think about it, the fastest lap is probably not going to him. Ian currently has that. And these tires are old. There's no way Rick can take the fastest lap. Unless he pulls out some serious pace. And gets like DRS all lap. Has incredible ERS management. But I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know. As yellow flag, that is the Aston Martin. Who is that? That's not Victor, is it? That is the other Aston Martin. Okay, so that's Boujou in the Aston, who is unfortunately spun around at the exit of Luffield now. So not good news for him in this race. What about the battle for fourth? How's that going? Pretty much the same, actually. And one hat-trick has also joined the battle as well. So it's turned out to be now a five-way fight for P5. This is going absolutely amazing. I cannot wait to see what happens here. Is Slimbo going to make the move into turn 3? No, not quite yet. The Ferrari will just wait a little bit longer. He's going to have the Wellington Straight coming up, so he will have the opportunity. Riding on board with that Ferrari with the special edition Monza livery. We still have that Ferrari logo on the back. Honestly, I really like it. I wish that that the team kept it on the cars for the rest of the season. At least just the Ferrari logo on the back, because you can definitely see that from far away. And it shows, hey, it's a Ferrari. I mean, the red also shows it's a Ferrari, but the yellow Ferrari logo shows literally the Ferrari name. Anyway, Slimbo wasn't able to get past Smalley, but he is going to have the DRS on the Hainer Straight. We will see if he's going to be making that overtake. Look at this, 1/10 behind. He has gotten really close to Smalley. Let's get ERS out on screen as well. ERS enabled, 33% DRS. Here he goes. Slimbo around the outside of the Alfa Romeo. He's going to try it. Around the outside. Oh my, it's so close to contact. Smalley trying to keep this position, but he does not. Slimbo gets up into fourth and takes over as the leader of this pack of cars here. So Slimbo has gotten past Smalley finally. And Lakitu looking for the overtake on Victor. The Mercedes is starting to catch up. Baki in that battle as well. Same with the Dozy. And remember, this could affect the championship as well. It's looking likely that Rick won't make that overtake on Ian. But let's see. It's so close, so close. 1 point is the difference right now by my calculations. And it really just rests in the hands of these drivers that I'm on board with right now. Baki, what he needs to do is catch up to Victor and Lakitu. But right now, Victor, I think he's going to win this championship. But of course, I don't want to jinx anything. I don't want to say anything more because anything can happen in league racing. Anything, honestly. So, we're on lap 24 out of 26. 3 laps to go. It's about to be 2 laps to go because Ian is starting the penultimate lap of the race in about 3 corners time. Meanwhile, the battle for P4 is intensifying. One hat-trick has that penalty, so that's going to affect his race. AlphaTauri, unfortunately, are out of the championship contention. Aston Martin are in contention because they will be grabbing 2 points with Victor. Things stay the way they are. But Williams, P6, P7 will keep them ahead, and they look to be winning the Constructors' Championship battle, which is awesome. They absolutely deserve it. Both drivers have done an incredible job this season, and just want to say congrats to you guys. But of course, it's not the end of the race yet, so I can't say anything more. but we still have a long time to go. Even though it's only 2 laps, we still have a long time to go. We still have 2 full laps of racing. And what about Rick? He's trying everything. He's trying absolutely everything. He has got 3 DRS zones to go. Rick, if you can do this, this will be one of the greatest championship wins in a season. Right now, though, I don't know. I don't know how this is going to work out. He gets a little bit twitchy on the exit of turn 14. 5/10 separating. This is it. 1 lap to go in season 31. We're about to start it. Ian leads us away. He is going for back-to-back victories. Rick in P2 currently. I do believe he will be finishing second in the championship as well, because I think Victor, with the points he's got, will be able to oh, Victor's moved out to 10th. Wait a second. How many penalties? Oh, look, Keith's got 11 seconds of time penalties. But Backy's 4 seconds behind. Oh my goodness. Backy's 4 seconds behind. If Victor doesn't get that penalty removed, I don't think he's going to, Rick will win the championship. I think that's how it's going to go, because Backy is 4 seconds behind. If that gap stays for this 1 lap, Rick will win the championship, because they're going to be on, I think they're going to be tied on points at the end of this. But because Rick has more wins, I have to confirm that with our host. But I think this is how it's gonna go. Let's just see though. Ian exiting comps now. Rick just stay behind. I think it's gonna work out. But let's see. 4.2 seconds behind. Victor's gotta push everything he can if he's gonna be able to win this championship. This is coming down to the absolute wire. Of course, that penalty might get removed as well, so I don't know if they will be certain. But right now, on track, this is it. This is it. 1 heavy braking zone to go in season 31. Ian is going to come across the line to win back-to-back victories in PSGL. But as it stands, on track, Rick is your season 31 champion of PSGL. I think that's how it goes. Rudy will finish in P3, Slimbo in P4. Let's take a look at the gap. It is still 4.1 seconds between Backy and Victor, so that'll lose him out. And Dodozy is down to P12, so Victor will finish outside. I think he'll finish outside. Let's find out. Yes, he will. He'll finish P11, so I think that's enough to give Rick the championship in F5. In season 31. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. I feel so bad to Victor though. I don't know if that penalty will be removed. I think he'll try, of course, because it is for this championship. But as things stand, on track by my calculations, Rick is your season 31 champion. And we've just got confirmation. Rick has won the Season 31 Championship. Absolutely incredible stuff on basically the final few laps of that race. It was all down to that gap between Victor and Backy. And it's just how it goes in racing. I feel so bad for Victor. He did everything he could to win this championship. It has been his season as well. He's done a great job. But here is the winner of the British Grand Prix. I said at the start, could it be back-to-back victories for Ian? Well, it is. Mercedes win here in Britain. Absolutely phenomenal stuff from Ian. And it is Rick that finishes in P2. Rudy on the podium as well. Congrats to him for getting a podium here in Britain. But that is it here in Season 31. We see the champagne spray as Ian wins the race, but Rick wins the F5 Championship. So that completes the British Grand Prix. Ian on top, followed by Rick, Rudy, and Smalley. Catterson and Trumpy Formula take P5 and P6. And with that, Williams are crowned Constructors Champions in F5 in Season 31. Absolutely incredible job by the pair of them. P5 and P6 at the end of the day as well. Great points and great consistent driving all season. Slimbo P7, One Hydric in P8, Baki P9, and Dodozi in P10, completing the top 10 in this race. Oh my goodness, absolutely phenomenal race here in PSGL. It has been an amazing season. Absolutely incredible from everybody today. It is confirmed. Rick is the champion. I'm pretty sure that penalty won't get removed. I think that's how that's going to work. So, with that, we have concluded Season 31 of PSGL and F5. Thank you so much for watching this race and the entire season as well. It's been an absolutely amazing season, so thank you all for joining us. Congrats to Ian as well on the win. Congrats to Rick on the championship, and congrats to Williams on the Constructors Championship as well. Happy days all around. It has been a great season. So, with that, I think that concludes things here today in Season 31 of PSGL. It has been a wild journey, and it has been absolutely phenomenal to commentate on all these races, not just this season and not just this season, but last season as well. So thank you to everybody in PSGL for allowing me to commentate. Thank you to all the drivers who raced this season. Absolutely phenomenal job from every single one of you. Great racing, awesome action, and just incredible. And of course, thank you to everybody who joined us here in the stream. If you guys want to join the league, make sure to sign up for Season 32. It will be starting in, I do believe, the first week of November. So that's going to be exciting. And we'll be heading to Spain for the first round of the season. But that's it from us here at PSGL. I've been Formula Jonah, your commentator for the F5 division here in PSGL. Thank you. Thank you to everybody who joined us, and we will see you all in Season 32.